Welcome to today's deep dive. Today, we are going to be looking at executive coaching.
Okay.
And we have a really interesting article here by Rob from kirchlab.hu.
Yeah.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that he is an executive coach himself,
Right.
but he's also a former top manager.
Interesting.
So he's coming at this from a perspective of someone who has been there and done that.
Yeah.
And now he's helping other leaders kind of navigate that same path.
I'm really curious to hear his take on it, especially with that background.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really stood out to me in the article was his definition of executive coaching.
Okay.
Because he goes beyond the typical kind of, leadership skill, stress management.
Right.
He talks about this thing called strategic alignment.
Strategic alignment.
Have you come across that term before?
I have, yeah. It's something that I think is often overlooked.
Really?
Because it's not enough for leaders to just be effective in the moment.
Yeah.
They need to be aligned with the company's long-term vision. And their own personal goals need to mesh with that, too.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that's where I think Rob's coaching seems to really shine.
That's a great point. And it actually connects directly to one of his case studies that he talks about in the article.
Oh, okay.
The one with the startup leader who was struggling to build like a cohesive company culture.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about communication breakdowns. It
Mhm.
was this lack of strategic alignment.
Interesting.
Rob helped the leader articulate like a clear vision that resonated with the team.
Okay.
And then suddenly communication started flowing and innovation started happening.
It's a perfect example of how effective coaching goes beyond those surface level solutions.
Yeah.
It really addresses those root causes,
Right.
which often lie in that strategic alignment piece.
Exactly. And I think that's something that any leader, regardless of their industry, can benefit from.
Absolutely.
And what I really appreciated was that Rob provided some really specific techniques for achieving this strategic alignment.
Oh, like,
So, for example, he talks about this vision mapping exercise
okay.
where leaders actually sit down with their team and they visualize their goals
Uh-huh.
and they identify potential roadblocks.
Interesting.
And he gives you like a step-by-step breakdown of how to facilitate this exercise,
Oh, wow.
what questions to ask.
It's not just theory, it's actually actionable advice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about it. And what's also really fascinating is how he weaves in his own personal experience as a former top manager.
Oh, like that.
So he talks about a time when he himself was struggling to align his team around a new strategy,
Okay.
and he felt like he was hitting a wall
Neat.
until he realized that he hadn't effectively communicated the why behind the change. And
Uh-huh.
so he ended up using like a storytelling approach.
Oh, interesting.
He drew parallels to a historical event that really resonated with his team.
Wow.
It's like he's giving us a peek behind the curtain of his own leadership journey.
Yeah, it makes it so much more relatable.
It does. And that's what I think makes this deep dive so compelling, is that he's not just an expert. He's a fellow traveler who's been down this road before.
Right.
And he's sharing his map with us, highlighting the pitfalls and the shortcuts.
Yeah, and it sounds like he doesn't shy away from the challenges either.
No, he doesn't.
He acknowledges that coaching, even when done right,
Yeah,
it isn't some magic bullet.
right.
It requires effort, self-reflection, and a willingness to step outside of your comfort zone.
He has a great quote about this.
What is it?
He says, "Leadership growth is a contact sport. You're going to get bumped and bruised along the way."
Oh, I like that.
I thought that was such a great quote because it's so honest.
Yeah.
It sets realistic expectations while still being incredibly motivating.
That honesty is key.
It is.
He's not selling us a quick fix.
Yeah.
He's offering us a path towards sustainable growth.
And I think that's what makes his approach, particularly the strategic alignment piece, so valuable.
Definitely. What's resonating most with you so far?
I think what's really striking me is how Rob frames executive coaching not as a remedial measure,
Okay.
but as a proactive investment.
Interesting.
It's not just for leaders who are struggling.
Right.
It's for those who want to continuously level up and stay ahead of the curve.
It's like he's saying, don't wait for a crisis to invest in your growth.
Exactly. And I think that's a really powerful shift in perspective.
Yeah.
It takes coaching out of the realm of fixing and places it squarely in the realm of thriving.
I love that.
And it's particularly relevant in today's rapidly changing world.
Oh, absolutely.
Leaders need to be adaptable, agile, and constantly learning.
Right.
That's where coaching can really make a difference.
It's almost like having a personalized GPS for your leadership journey.
I love that.
And he even mentions how technology is playing a role in making coaching even more accessible and customizable.
That's a perfect segue to the next part of our deep dive, where we're going to explore the future of executive coaching, especially the rise of virtual coaching. But before we jump ahead, let's take a closer look at another one of Rob's case studies.
Okay, which one?
The one with the multinational executive who's grappling with stress and work-life balance.
Oh, right.
It perfectly illustrates how coaching can address those personal challenges that directly impact leadership effectiveness.
Okay.
And this is where Rob's emphasis on what he calls inner alignment comes in.
Inner alignment. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Well, let's dive into that after a quick break.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So inner alignment, what is that all about?
So with inner alignment, Rob is talking about acknowledging those vulnerabilities that we all have as leaders,
Okay.
and then finding ways to manage them effectively.
So it's not about ignoring the stress?
Right. It's not about pretending it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's about understanding its root causes and then developing coping mechanisms.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he uses this really interesting metaphor in the article.
Oh, what is it?
He compares stress to a pressure cooker. He's like, if you don't release that pressure in a controlled way, eventually it's going to explode.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. And that's where coaching comes in, because it provides that safe space to release the pressure,
I see.
to identify the triggers and develop healthier ways of responding.
Yeah, and so in this case study with the multinational executive,
Right.
how did Rob apply this idea of inner alignment?
So he helped him implement mindfulness techniques.
Okay.
And he also helped him create better boundaries between work and personal life.
So it's not just about surviving the stress, it's about actually thriving.
Exactly. And Rob talks about how inner alignment leads to greater resilience, better focus, and even increased creativity.
It's like clearing out the mental clutter so you can tap into your full potential.
Exactly. It reminds me of something he said earlier in the article about leading from a place of wholeness.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It's about bringing your whole self to your leadership role,
Right.
recognizing that your personal well-being directly impacts your effectiveness as a leader.
I think that's such a powerful message because it challenges that traditional view of leadership
Yes.
as being compartmentalized and purely rational.
Exactly. It's not just about the numbers and the strategy.
Right. It's about the human being behind the title.
Exactly. And I think Rob's approach really embraces that emotional intelligence aspect.
The self-awareness piece.
Yes, which
Yeah.
is so crucial for authentic leadership.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it ties back to that idea of strategic alignment that we were talking about earlier.
Right.
Inner alignment and strategic alignment, they're two sides of the same coin.
You can't have one without the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A leader who's internally aligned, who's managing their stress and operating from a place of wholeness,
Yeah.
they are so much better equipped to lead their team towards that shared vision.
It creates a virtuous cycle, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Inner alignment fuels strategic alignment,
Right.
which leads to greater success,
Right.
which then boosts confidence and well-being.
It's like this upward spiral.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where Rob's own journey adds so much weight to these insights.
Oh, absolutely.
He's not just spouting theories,
No.
He's sharing lessons learned from his own experience in the corporate world.
And he actually talks about a time when he was so focused on achieving external goals
Yeah.
that he completely neglected his own well-being.
Oh, wow.
And he ended up burning out.
Yeah.
And it took a toll on both his personal life and his leadership effectiveness.
That's a good reminder that leadership isn't about sacrificing yourself on the altar of success.
Right. It's about finding that sustainable path.
One that honors your values and allows you to thrive.
And that's where coaching can be such a valuable tool. It's
Yeah.
like having a mirror held up to you,
Right, helping you see your blind spots.
challenging your assumptions.
And to do that effectively, you really need to have a coach who you trust,
Absolutely.
someone who understands the unique challenges that you're facing.
And that's why I think Rob's experience as a former top manager is so invaluable.
He's been there. He gets it.
Exactly. He brings that empathy and understanding to his coaching.
He's not just dispensing advice from on high.
No.
He's walking alongside his clients, guiding them through those complexities of leadership.
And he also seems very attuned to the evolving nature of leadership.
Right.
He doesn't shy away from discussing how technology is changing the game.
Especially in terms of virtual coaching.
Exactly.
That's something I'm particularly interested in
Yeah, me too.
because I've seen firsthand how virtual coaching can break down barriers,
Right.
making personal and professional development accessible to people all over the world.
It's democratizing coaching in a sense.
Exactly. Making it available to those who might not have had access to it before.
And as technology continues to advance,
Yeah.
I think we're going to see even more innovative ways to personalize that coaching experience.
Oh, I completely agree. Like, imagine AI-powered platforms
Yes.
that can analyze your communication style, identify your leadership strengths and weaknesses, and provide tailored feedback and exercises.
It's like having a virtual coach in your pocket, available anytime, anywhere.
Exactly. And while nothing can replace that human connection of in-person coaching,
Right.
virtual coaching really does open up a world of possibilities.
It does.
It allows you to fit coaching into your busy schedule,
Yeah.
connect with coaches who might be geographically distant,
Right.
and even access coaching resources in different languages.
It's about meeting people where they are, literally and figuratively.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's about empowering individuals to take ownership of their growth and development.
And that brings us to a point that Rob emphasizes in the article, the importance of continuous learning.
Right.
Executive coaching isn't a one-time fix.
It's an ongoing journey.
Exactly. It's a journey of self-discovery and improvement.
It's about embracing the mindset that there's always more to learn,
Yes.
more to explore, and more to achieve.
And that's something we can all benefit from, regardless of our title or position.
I completely agree.
Whether you're a CEO, a team leader, or just starting out in your career. The principles of executive coaching can help you navigate challenges, unlock your potential, and lead with greater impact.
It's about recognizing that leadership is a lifelong pursuit,
It is.
one that requires continuous growth and adaptation.
And as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to leave you with a question to ponder.
Okay, I like these questions.
What steps can you take today to embrace the principles of executive coaching and invest in your own development?
It's a great question. Because whether it's seeking out a mentor
Right.
and rolling in a leadership development program,
Yeah.
or simply committing to regular self-reflection,
There are countless ways to embark on this journey of growth.
there really are.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to hear what Rob has to say about those specific resources and strategies in the final part of our deep dive.
Me too, so stay tuned. So as we kind of wrap up our exploration of Rob's take on executive coaching,
Yeah.
I'm struck by how much we've talked about. We
Right.
went from strategic alignment to inner alignment,
Uh-huh.
and then the future of coaching itself.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible how all these pieces fit together.
It is, right? It's like a puzzle.
Yeah, like a cohesive approach to developing as a leader.
Exactly. And one thing that keeps coming back to me is Rob's focus on the power of questions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he doesn't just give you the solutions, he
Huh.
leads people to ask the right questions.
The ones that kind of make you think differently.
Yeah, the ones that spark self-discovery and unlock new perspectives.
He has that great quote about it, doesn't he?
He does. He says, the quality of your leadership is directly proportional to the quality of the questions you ask.
That's a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's so simple, but so profound.
Yeah.
Like he's saying, stop searching for easy answers
Right.
and start embracing the power of inquiry.
And that's something we can all do in our lives.
Absolutely, regardless of our, position or experience.
Whether you're leading a team or making a decision,
Even just trying to figure out a personal challenge.
asking the right questions can really make a difference.
It can change your whole mindset.
And that's where coaching can be so helpful.
Right, because it's not about being told what to do.
Yeah, you have a guide to help you figure out the questions.
Exactly. The ones that will lead to breakthroughs.
So does he give any examples of these power questions?
He does. He gives a few in the article.
Oh, like what?
One that I really liked was, what's the one thing you're avoiding that, if addressed, would have the biggest positive impact on your leadership?
Whoa, that's powerful.
Right? It makes you face the uncomfortable stuff.
Yeah, the areas where you might be holding yourself back.
Exactly. And, sometimes that's where the biggest growth happens.
Absolutely. Now, he also talks about celebrating wins, doesn't he?
Yes. Both big and small.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the daily grind.
And forget to recognize how far you've come.
Exactly. And he talks about it like fueling the fire of motivation.
Oh, yeah. When you take time to celebrate your successes,
Mm-hmm.
it reinforces positive behaviors.
Keeps you going.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's like giving yourself a pat on the back.
Saying, hey, I'm doing good work.
And that can be so empowering, especially when you're facing challenges.
Definitely. He even suggests keeping a success journal
Oh, yeah.
where you write down your wins.
No matter how small.
It's a really simple way to track your progress and boost your confidence.
And it all ties back to that inner alignment.
Yes, when you feel good about yourself and your work, you can show up as your best self.
Right. Both personally and professionally.
And that creates a positive feedback loop.
Inner alignment fuels success.
which strengthens inner alignment.
Exactly. And that's what executive coaching is all about.
It is. It's about equipping leaders to navigate, all the tricky parts of their jobs
With clarity and confidence.
and a sense of purpose
Yeah, and empowering them to lead from a place of authenticity.
and make a real impact.
So as we finish up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I really hope our listeners are thinking about how they can use these insights.
In their own leadership journeys,
Yeah, whether that's finding a coach or trying virtual coaching.
or just asking themselves better questions.
There are so many ways to grow. And remember, leadership isn't a destination
It's an ongoing journey.
of learning and evolving and being your best self.
Rob says, the best leaders are lifelong learners.
Always seeking to expand their horizons and unlock their full potential.
So true. So keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.
Bye, everyone!